Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Strange Issue 9. Here we go. And this cover is fucking beautiful. I mean, it really showcases Steven and Clea very well. I mean, the effective use of red, black, and the kind of warm colors to kind of highlight them. This this cover is like, yeah, I'd like a poster of that and a shirt of that. And it's really fitting because we see them really teaming up to go after the Blasphemy Cartel in their Emerald City HQ. And it was just really cool to see them fighting and figuring out kind of what's going on. And we start off, we see Clea pretty much narrating her kind of thoughts on everything and just getting really fucking good art, showcasing them like flying off and doing things. Let's see here. She's pretty much going to remind her enemies who she is, that she's a warlord born, and that she's flying to war. Talking about Steven being the harvest man and everything, how they can't touch and everything, and how she is put in a hateful mood because of how they can't be together, as we see her there. It's like, yeah, I get that. And then she's like saying it's going to serve her well for that kind of mood to go against the Blasphemy Cartel. As we then see their Emerald City HQ, which that is really fucking nice right there. It's like, oh damn, it is Emerald. And then they pretty much ask each other if they're ready. Revenants, monsters, demons. Stranger's pretty much like, but don't, we can't kill humans, people. Please, Clea. And she's like, I'm not making any promises. And she's talking about how she kind of forgot how he was. Of course, talking about how the Vishanti tried to make them make him their warrior with like the 5,000 years in the War of the Seven Spheres, which does come back. And I'm like, ooh, I'm not that well versed completely in Doctor Strange's lore, but I like them bringing this up and then tying it together of what's kind of going on now. Talking about what Death has done as the Blasphemy Cartel's like, ah shit, they're coming! And as they like blast into the HQ just looking badass, and how Clea understands Strange, being like, okay, he's not a warrior or an assassin, he's a doctor. And he believes that all can be saved and abhors the death of others, whoever they might be. Which sounds like Death really, I mean, granted, getting a Sorcerer Supreme as like your own Sorcerer Supreme is a good kind of catch, but the thing is, it's if they kind of like abhor death and everything like that, it kind of puts you like a kind of hard time kind of controlling him. And I love how she's like saying it's his most infuriating quality, and in large part why she loves him. Let's see, and talking about how as they're kind of fighting, how that kind of outlook affected her and kind of made her feel about him, where you're raised in Dormammu's court, where cruelty is currency, where sadism was strength and viciousness was virtue, and Strange just comes in pretty much and just like spits in Dormammu's eye, who pursued not despotism or dominance, but a path to helping others to be better, healing them, whatever that might mean. And she's like, who could not love a man like that, whatever other flaws he might have, which is fucking cool to me. And then they're kind of like doing their kind of banter as they're like fighting. It's like he says that this cloak of levitation suits her. Talking about how he's a flatterer and thinking about how they first met and how she's gotten more magnificent every day. And it's like, I could get how some people would be like, that's kind of disgusting. I'm like, no, that's cute and I fucking love it, man. And then she's telling him not to forget it. He's like, never, not if I was the last living thing in the universe watching the stars wink out one by one. And then she's talking about blushing at that and everything like that. And we see that someone gets to direct her, and Non's like, what do we do? It's like, we're the Blasphemy Cartel. Timeline's been moved up. I want the Mystex online. It's time to fire up Revenant Prime. And the dude's like, that thing's not complete. He's like, tell that to the Sorcerer Supreme. Tell that to the Harvest Man. It's like, yeah, you really don't have time for that kind of shit. And then we shift and we see a lot of use of purple. And it's really kind of cool. I like how it highlights stuff instead of like washes stuff out in the kind of purple that it's going on with. And the director's like, there's only one thing that can stop them. And Clea brings up that she'd been like working with Moon Knight and all that kind of stuff. He's like, what? And trying to get to like information and stuff. Doom coming by to be like, he wanted to be Sorcerer Supreme. And he's like, I'm not surprised. Was he angry? Incensed. I think he is still wondering how you passed on the mantle to me. Of course he is. It is utterly outside of his nature. And talking about how Doom tastes. He could never conceive of giving something of himself, no matter how small, to better others. And of course, Strange apologizes for burdening her with what's going on. And she's like, it's fine. I thought I lost you again, and whatever your last wish was, I would see it through. Whatever it took to keep the world, to keep safe the world you loved so much. It's like, that's really cool. This is a real good moment of like showing the characters and what it means. Strange is really sorry, but we see that she does not really see it as a burden because he loved the world, and she wants to protect the things that he loved. Let's see. And then explaining that, like, grafting a fragment of your soul to her to anchor the office of Sorcerer Supreme to her, which I didn't know about, which was kind of cool and always good to have that kind of added value there. Then we see pretty much Director Nunn pretty much talking to him through the intercom. He's talked about how he hates variables he can't control, and that his death was probably the worst kind of thing that could have happened. She's pretty much like, before I find you and kill you, yes, I know, Steven, why? Why have you been doing all this? It's like, wants to know what's going on. It's like, if you make it through the next wave and meet up with me, I'll tell you, Director Nunn. Out. Release all the Lodgeless agents out in hand. And Strange is like, don't kill him. She's like, fine, I'll leave him in the dark dimension and let the mindless ones fucking eat his ass. And he's like, Clea, and she's like, Moon Knight would let me. That's because Moon Knight is a, oh shit. Before he could even go through that, and more Revenants pop up. It's like, shit. And they're talking about their like whole battle strategy going forward, where she was able to pretty much make a spell on the fly, but the thing is to take out the rest of these Revenants, she's got to kind of like specialize it for each one. So they kind of have to be careful with their battle tactics and allow her the time to kind of do it as she starts like blasting it. Let's see. And of course, she's talking about how it's not just her as the Sorcerer Supreme fighting, it's the Harvest Man as well, as we see a great battle shot of Strange frickin' slicing one's head pretty much off. And of course, buys her time to destroy another one, as then she starts getting like beset by another Revenant, and Stranger's like, do not touch my wife, dead thing. And then Strange gets impaled by a sword, but of course that doesn't work on him, because he's Death's agent, and we see that he is made of sterner stuff because of what Death has done for this kind of vessel that he's got. And talking about how what power could stand against both of them combined. And the director's like, yeah? What power indeed, let me tell you. Talking about how he didn't really like Pandora Peters, that she was weak and lacked vision, knew that there were bigger, better bosses who risked things in the darkness between the stars, bosses who promised such interesting things, which, whenever you hear things like that, you don't do that shit. You kind of look up other things and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, no. Like, and that's when he made contact with management. And they're evidently old friends of Strange, called Grief Saver, Yigmilsvich. I don't know how to pronounce that. Mother of Pain, the Trinity of Ashes, the ones that he fought in the 5,000 Years of War. And of course he doesn't remember it because the Vishanti did to him, the price for peace with the Trinity. And he's like, they didn't forget. They never forget what you did to them. As we then see an explosion kind of going on. I was like, what the fuck? And that all this was for him. Summoning the Revenants was useful. We made them our Lazarus agents, the ones we could catch, and the rest, they stirred up pain and chaos, all things that the Trinity likes. So even if they were failing it, even if they were failing and falling towards Strange and Clea, they were evidently still achieving their goal and helping out this management. But the Trinity wanted to walk the earth, and for that they had to make them a body, one suited to their bleak majesty. And the souls inside of this revenant, the tens upon tens of millions of them, will serve as a snack when the Trinity possesses the body. But don't worry, you'll be dead before that happens. I give you Revenant Prime Sentry. It's like eldritch, fucked up, grief saver kind of gods that feed on pain and chaos inhabiting the Sentry's body. That would be fucking horrendous. Never mind the fact that it's like possessed by the power of 100 million insane ghosts. And it's like, yep, that is a good kind of thing of being like, what power could stand against the Harvest Man and the Sorcerer Supreme? Well, 100 million insane ghosts inhabiting and moving around the dead body of the Sentry would be that. Now, it would be interesting to see if, like, the Void kind of, like, did any kind of effect to be like, hey, fuck you, buddy, I'm my own Eldritch kind of thing. You ain't taking this shit. It's like, okay, yeah, I was not expecting Sentry being used as a Revenant, but it makes sense, and it's a very credible threat. And never mind the fact that we got the Trinity of Ashes getting into this kind of mix from what we've been told. Now, granted, I'm not that well versed with them, but it's like, okay, what Director Nunn is kind of laying out is pretty fucking horrendous. So that is a big threat that Strange and Clea are going to have to really think about in order to take out, and I will be definitely interested to see how they achieve that. And like, yeah, this is going good. I really have been enjoying this series, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.